Hello, friends. Today we are going to talk about the relevant topics, which has got its relevance, its importance in everyday's life. It's called learning. Learning means if you just ask, any kid, even class 5 or class 6 students can answer you. They will just tell you learning what happens is just what we are doing while going to school. Yes, but the reality is every one of us is going to school each and every day. It is a perspective. It is a what we are acquiring. It is something that our behavior it changes as a result of learning. So, before coming to the actual definition, I would like to just put in certain examples. Suppose I say that I am learning how to drive a car. So, how do you think you are going to believe it? That I know how to drive a car? Definitely, my words won't satisfy you. You can only confirm that I have learned to drive a car when you actually see me driving the car smoothly on the road. Not just sitting in the car, not just thinking that I'm able to drive a car. I can any day I can tell you that I can just fly a plane, but that is not practically possible until someone sees it as a change in my action. So learning it involves a change. It is a change in your action. It's a change in your behavior. We cannot see the learning taking place. We can only see the changes, and we can call it that learning has taken place. Actually, this change in behavior relates to learning new things, acquiring new things, and it is a result of an experience. So a different just as I quoted the example, the different stages it comes, that when you are learning to drive a car, first you are sitting in the car, you are identifying the ABC, the accelerator, the brake, and the clutch. We are sitting, we are putting the ignition on, but we are unable to move the car forward. It's only after certain jerks, certain amount of time, we will be able to start, and definitely we are able to move the car a few inches, a few yards. But still, it is not a sufficient learning. Until and unless we are seeing it, anybody sees it, okay, that Pratik, you are driving a car, okay, you have learned how to drive a car. So we can only say that learning takes place if and only if a person behaves in a way that is different from how he behaved initially, how his behavior was different from his initial behavior, how that relative permanent change has come in the style of a behavior, how we can relate to the change in behavior as a result of learning. So learning involves change, and this change, it is a relative change, and it is a change in behavior. The second is that this change is relatively permanent. It means it has got a reference from its initial and final behavior, how you are going to respond. After a certain period of time, how you are going to achieve it. So we can say that we can infer that learning has taken place if and only if a person behaves in a way that is primarily different from the way he formerly behaved. So definitely a change in thought process, it does not constitute a learning. The change in the process must be converted into action, must be converted into your behavior. So finally we can just define it in learning. We can say that learning is a relative permanent change in behavior which occurs as a result of experience. And we can quote a few things, a few features of learning, that it requires a bit of practice, it requires a bit of experience, it requires a bit of training. until and unless the change in behavior is permanent. It is relatively permanent actually. The second thing is that a change in thought process, it does not constitute learning, as I have told earlier. Similarly, a temporary adaptation cannot be constituted as something as learning. Let me just quote you a scenario. If somebody is going to a party, and their behavior changes after a couple of drinks, will it be called a learning? No, definitely not. Because that definitely there is a change in behavior. Anybody can just question me, okay sir, there is a change in behavior, how you are not calling it a learning? We are not calling it a learning because the change is only reflective. It is a temporary adaptation. The effect of the drug or effect of that alcohol will just reduce or vanish the next morning. It will not be a relative stamp as a change of action in your behavior. So any temporary adaptation due to any medication, due to any agent, due to any drugs, due to any physical maturity, due to any substance which is taken temporarily, it does not constitute a learning. The learning has to be relatively permanent or relatively stable in order to just constitute, or that we can confirm a particular learning has taken place. It is a change in action. And definitely is one thing I would love to add, that it is I am not calling it as a positive or negative process. It is just it's a process. We can learning can be adapted to a negative thing also. The students can just avoid going to classes on some pretext or other, if you're finding that class is not interesting in itself. So definitely this learning has got its relevance in each and every day's life. Now this was all about learning. Now coming to the thing, the most million dollar or the fundamental question, that how we are going to learn. Who is going to answer this question, that how we are going to learn? For this, our answer will be, we have to go to the theories of learning. We have to understand the theories of learning. Three important theories comes into play. The classical conditioning theory, number one. We relate it with the famous Pavlov's experiment. The second is the operant conditioning theory, how our consequences changes the behavior. And the third and the most important, the most relevant learning takes place from this particular theory. Only on the basis of this particular theory, it is called the social learning theory. It is learning through direct observation and experience. Learning through observation and direct experience. Definitely in the next video, I will just call it into details, into much more elaborate into this. We'll go into much more details into this particular theories. Thank you.